Hey guys, it's Megan, and today I'm going to be doing a book review for you guys. It is going to be spoiler free, and it is going to be on New World Rising by Jennifer Wilson. This book came as a bonus book in my June Owl Crate, and I am so glad it did. I already owned this one and the second one on a ebook version, but I hadn't had a chance to pick it up, read it, just because I was doing other things. And when I got this in my Owl Crate, I seriously just sat it on top of my TBR pile, and I dove in yesterday and I read it in like 2 hours. Totally worth it. Loved it. So jumping in, we are going to start with a brief synopsis. Outside of the utopian society of the Sanctuary, the world has literally gone to hell. Living on the streets of Tartarus, Phoenix has learned a lot of things about survival. Always be on the move, never stay out when the sun is up, and trust no one. Bloodthirsty tribes roam the streets, and getting caught out in the open can get you killed. When Phoenix was a little girl, she witnessed the murder of her parents by ravagers, and when she sees a little girl being hunted by them, she does the unthinkable. She steps in to help, and she's severely injured in the fight and blacks out, and when she wakes up, she is in a medical facility hidden by the subversive, and they have healed her, and they want her help to bring down the corrupt government of the Sanctuary and the 5 bloodthirsty tribes that are trying to kill everybody. Inside the subversive base, Phoenix is reviled and feared. Nobody trusts her, and she has no idea who to trust either. The only thing that she is certain of is her attachment to the little girl that she risked her life to save. That same little girl could hold the key to bringing the Sanctuary down to its knees. This story takes place in a world that is completely unapologetic about its brutality, and every scene was filled with action, and when there wasn't action, everything was character driven and everything was developed wonderfully. I really felt like I was prey out in the open during some of the scenes, and the hair on the back of my neck rose, and it was such an immersive book that I am so happy that I picked it up. Some of my favorite things about this story were character driven, and I absolutely loved how Phoenix would do anything to save Mouse, the little girl that she saved. And I mean, she did it at the risk of her own life, her own safety, her own freedom, and that was kind of a huge thing for her because she's only ever had to look out for herself. So it's going against her natural instincts to flee and never ever stay where people can hurt you. Another thing that I really did enjoy about this story was the fact that there was no love triangle. The romance was in the novel, but at the same time it was just a very budding romance, and it didn't distract from anything. It just helped with character growth, which romance for the sake of romance is great if you're reading a romance novel. I was reading a dystopian novel. I was expecting destruction, death, horrible things. Was I disappointed? No, I loved it. It was so enthralling, a page turner. The story centers around Phoenix, who is a 16, 17-year-old girl who she's been on her own since her parents were murdered. She's had to take care of herself and survive and even thrive in some cases. So having her step out of her boundaries to risk her life to save Mouse was just, she wanted nothing more than to make sure Mouse didn't have to feel the same things that she felt growing up. And I mean, my heart was bleeding for her, and it was so, I don't even know how to describe it. It was so good. Her motivation to keep Mouse safe is definitely the backbone to her joining the subversive to try and bring down the corrupt society that their world is in. And I mean, sometimes all it takes is one person saying enough is enough. I'm gonna do this for this one person. And I think that's kind of like the focal standing point of young adult dystopian novels, is that one person saying enough is enough. I need to do this for somebody or for some reason. Nobody ever sets out intentionally, in my opinion, to save the world. It's all about saving that one person, and it kind of just builds to saving the world, which I absolutely love. One of the things that I really liked about Triven, the love interest, is he is definitely of the good of the many kind of guy. He will do anything to save as many people as he can. He will try not to hurt anybody, but he will get stuff done. I also liked how his relationship and the fact that he looked out for Mouse and Phoenix was so integral to who he was as a person, even to the detriment of his relationships with some of the people in the subversive compound. He really didn't care. He just wanted to make sure that those two were safe, and I did love that about him. So I will say this, there really was a triangle in the story, but it wasn't a romance triangle, which was oh, I loved it because that is a common trope in young adult novels, young adult fiction, and I was glad that there wasn't any focus on that. But the triangle that I'm talking about is the relationships between the subversive, the tribes, and the sanctuary. It was all very parasitic. They all fed off of each other, and the dynamic between them is fascinating. I can't wait to get more into it in the second book, so I do recommend picking up the book if you have the option, and if you have read, or if you received your Owl Crate, dive in as quick as you can. It's so good. I seriously got a shiver of anticipation as the book was coming to a close, and I really screamed into the pages when it was over just because I wanted more, and I'm so glad that I have the second book to pick up because I feel like I'm just going to streamline into it. That being said, I am sorry I screamed into the acknowledgements page just because that poor page. In every book that I read that I absolutely love and just, I scream at a lot of books. That sounds like I'm a psycho, but you know what? I own it. I gave this book 4.5 stars out of 5, and I will recommend this to as many people as I possibly can just because it was such an enjoyable book. And just on a closing point here, ask yourself this question: would you join or would you die? Your choice. Bye.